Hello, everyone. We are back. All photos, everything submitted to the AGA. I know you haven't seen the final or anything like that, but I think it was just okay. It's not great. I don't think it'll do well. And, with just a rush job and not planning it, I think it was just fine, though, overall. So where are we right now? I have changed the tank, obviously, as you can see. And I want to go forward with focusing on using rosettes and trying to make interesting areas with those rosettes and having the scape go around those particular points of interest. So that's going to be my goal for the whole next year, is really trying to make the tank have depth, be interesting, and not necessarily following what I typically do, because I need to grow as an aquascaper for this style, instead of just using the golden rule, golden ratio, whatever you want to call it, and just putting those plants in those areas and having it look decent. I really want to try and do what the big boys do and make these very interesting scapes with lots and lots of depth using rosettes. So that's going to be my focus. So I've pulled some plants I want to try for this year. I am going to try my nemesis plant again. That's pretty much any AR. I forget what version this is, but it's just one I can find locally. Now it was fully immersed growth, so it is converting. Going to try this Nymphia here too. Now, we've actually sold 2 large chunks, maybe 3 large chunks of it, and this thing gets massive and it gets wide. I honestly don't know how I'm going to handle it if I use it. It really wants to get wide, so we'll just see where it goes from there. I brought in some contortionist val. I really love that plant. Vals do not do well in my tanks. I imagine maybe because of the lower KH and the more acidic conditions, they just don't want to perform super well. They do enjoy a little bit of more carbonate hardness. Brought in the Juncus repens. I also ordered some plants and some Maiaca fluvitalis. Just accidentally got in with it. It was one stem. I'm propagating it now, so we'll try that as a curtain. We did ditch the street plant, which was the baby tears, and I think we're going to try Cleno as a street. I've never really seen that. It is a bear to handle all those stems, but it should be okay. Not sure about the purple repens. When I moved it into this spot, it did get a lot of algae. I clipped all that off with the last maintenance cycle. We'll just see how that goes. I brought in Halanthium augustifolia. I think that's it. It's one that gets tall, maybe as a curtain. We did move the lucens over as a curtain again. Brought in Echinodorus aflame. Brought in a dwarf stiletta. I think it's called Nymphia stiletta. And this new one here, I forget the name of it. I will have that eventually. That's going to be kind of my smaller leaf, fuzzy-looking plant. And, of course, we brought in the Limno rugosa again. It was amazing. We put, I think, 3, maybe 4 single stems into the 40. That's the aqua soil. And that's how big it got and how lush and bushy. Now, it does have some fuzz. We're still battling that, but just on a much less scale. But anything out of the aqua soil tank that comes in here is going to get algae, and we can see that on the lily, the rugosa. The Juncus has just kind of got a little bit. Oh, and I brought in this Cryptocorean spiralis red tiger. And it looks okay, yeah. It was just in the back corner of the 40 with not much light because everything was drowning it out. And, I think it's going to be fine. So I've cranked down the lights. We're shifting into low gear. I significantly lower them by 2 to 3 notches. So maybe par at the substrates, probably in the 45 to 50 range. And we're just going to slow everything down, take our time. We have tons of time to do with whatever we want, how we want it, and that's the plan going forward. Still going to hold the nutrient schedule. We are going to reduce to once a week water changes, and still going to, well, we're not going to front load, sorry. We are going to just test a tank and then dose it up for the whole week with macro, sorry, and then continue micros unchanged. So that's where we are, just a slight update. I think the results will take 3-4 months, and when they come in, we'll see how I did, how we didn't do. I'll evaluate it. I love reading the judges' comments. That's kind of what it's all about, is just, seeing what their opinion is. Interesting thing about the final shot was we did a full round of photos a day, or I think it was on Friday. And when we were editing the photos, we didn't realize a stem of the Limno aquatica had come out, and it looked goofy and out of position. And the cherry leaf in the right corner looked a little goofy, so we had to rig a sponge that made the plant look taller and arrange it like a bouquet, and it didn't look quite right. So when we realized that, I was at work, and my wife came in and kind of reset everything, and got the Limno a little too low. I was hoping it would be higher, but she did an amazing job on the cherry leaf. It looked super good. There's a little bit of algae in the photo, and I even mentioned that in my comments, how we really hadn't planned on it. We've been dealing with this disaster now for so long that realistically the tank was never possible, and how we got it together in, I think, 3-4 weeks was quite the accomplishment. So that's pretty cool. All right, so we'll see you again shortly. We're just kind of let this go through its phase with the new plants entry from the aqua soil. I will be taking all of this bush here and cutting single stems. It's literally 3 stems. They're that wide each, 3 main chunks of plant. I'm going to go ahead and separate those. I'm going to start working the corners. We did reset the lily. Oh, we did find out for some reason our PO4 got really low. I think it was a mistake in the dosing or measuring when we dosed our containers. So we have now corrected that, and we'll see if there's any changes. Now, weeks before finding this out, we had tested and it was fine. So I don't think it was a very long problem, maybe 2-3 weeks at best. But it was just interesting. And, that kind of brings me back to, I don't like to test. I don't want to test because I trust my dosing. But every once in a while, just dosing to make sure everything, or testing is making sure everything is on par, is a good idea, because it certainly caught a mistake that we were able to correct. Forgot to mention, this is a Hygrophila coriambosa compact. And boy, did it not like to be moved. It is melting. Pretty easy plant. Actually very easy, and I think when it comes back it'll be just fine. But water change day was Monday because my new day's off. I went in and just grabbed it and just massaged it, and it just basically came apart, and you can see it now. It's looking a little rough, brown at the bottom, so we'll see. All right, again, see you in a couple of weeks. We're not going quick. Everything's slowed down, and I'll probably slow down my video shots as well to compensate for how much slower the tank is going to grow at this much lower light. All right, we will see you then. Thank you. Here's just a brief update on the 120. My wife has been taking over on it, which is great because I'm at my wit's end with it and I don't want to deal with it anymore, so she's taking it on. Basically, everything I've mentioned is just continued, but she's been very aggressive with the tank, and she's actually getting somewhere with it. She did a hard reset on all the plants just a few days ago on that Monday water change. And by mistake, when we were doing the final shots of the 100, I turned this light off and I didn't set it back to automatic mode. And for one day, it had the lights off all day. So I just turned the CO2 off because I was at home. One advantage of the controller, you can just do that from anywhere in the world, really. And interestingly, when we turned the lights back on, a whole lot of that algae was starting to disappear, and it may have given her an advantage. And if we just can't freaking solve this tank, maybe we turn the lights off for 3 days. I mean, the fish aren't going to get hurt. They'll have ambient light. It wouldn't be technically a full blackout, but if it worked for a day, who knows what could happen for 3 days. So that's on the board as an option. The Persicaria is really looking good. She has cut off all the lowers, and the tops are looking fantastic, and I don't see any new growth showing those signs where it's going to get ugly again. The Rotalo, we took that out of the 100. She's reset all that. It looks good today. I can see a couple spots of the algae. The Aquatica is looking better, even though she reset it because it was just getting too tall. The lowers looked pretty darn good. Same with the Mirio. We did ditch permanently the Rotala orange juice. I just didn't like its growth form, and we've only kept a small portion of the rotundifolia. And the rotundifolia might make an appearance into the 100 for what I have envisioned in my head to do with it. So yeah, here's the 100. It is doing better, but it's still maintaining. Oh, this spatulata is looking rough, and it is a great indicator plant for low PO4, and it has taken a hit, and that kind of correlates with our low PO4 issue. I'm actually thinking about permanently ditching it, even though it's probably my favorite stem. It grows very slow, extremely slow. It is temperamental, but once you get it right, it does really, really well, and it has a unique leaf shape. So I'm kind of, pondering, do I just ditch it? Because in reality, the Samsoni, which also is temperamental but not quite as temperamental, is easier to grow, has a very similar shape, but it doesn't get those longer internodes like the spatulata does, which I really like. All right, so we'll see you again, like I mentioned, and everything's going to be slower, less uploads, maybe once a month, once every 3 weeks, something like that. And we'll see you then. Thank you.